Hello community, I hope you are doing good. In this discussion we will see how to create a compute field, and in case you missed previous discussion about how to create a related field, please check, link is given in the description. And if you want to learn more about Odoo, you can visit the WebLearns channel. Under the home screen you can see Odoo 17 development tutorial, and currently we are working on this playlist, the fields development tutorial. And by the way, this is the main playlist of the Odoo 17 development tutorial. So let's say in case you want to start beginning from the first session, right, you can start with this playlist. So those are the sub playlist of the main playlist. And in case guys you want to learn different topics, you can see Odoo development, and here you can see older versions, different topic wise playlist available with the different examples. Okay, so let's back to our main topic, like how to create a compute field. So first thing is, what is compute field, right? So here let me give you one example. You can see here student fees and the discount is available, right? So let me show you one more easy way to understand. Let's say here, let's say student fees, right, and discount fees, and here I want final fees. So my logic would be like, let's say student fees minus discount fees, right? So whatsoever total, so whatsoever total is coming from these two, right, it will store in this field. So let's say in our example we have, like, let's say 100 student fees, right, and discount is a 50. So our final, let's say, fees would be 50, right, as per this logic. So right now I want to create this type of field, and it should be automatic, not like every time I have to calculate manually. So this is not something like we have to do manually. So in this kind of operations you want to do, right, so compute field come to the picture. Not only the fields, not only this float field or integer field, but you can also apply compute field in a different fields which we already discussed, right? You can see character field, many to many, date, one to many, reference. Everywhere you can use the compute field. So how you can do the compute field, right? So here, let's say final fees float, final fees. But before that, let me give you one more scenario. Let's say student fees, yeah, here. Okay, and same like it's already available in the form view. So I'm trying to upgrade the module. And guys, if you don't know how to configure Odoo in PyCharm, please check editor level playlist. I already explained everything. I'm going to here and refresh the screen. I'm going to the list view. You can see here student fees and the discount, right? Now here our main goal is like 5 minus 1, so result would be the 4, right? So that fourth result, right, I want to add into the new field. So for that we already created here this field, and the thing is I have to use the float field because you can see here we are using here float field, right? For these two fields we are using to get the final result. So here these two fields we are using as a float, so due to that I am also using here the float field. Now the thing is how you can also apply your formula, which we already discussed. So for that we have to create one method. So let's say compute final fees calculation, something like this. Okay, here we can use something like this self Guys, one more thing is the self would be, it depends on the where you are using the compute field, right? If you are using compute field in list view, so you are getting here more than one record set. If you are using compute field in a form view, so that means it will always return the only the single record set. So due to our safety purpose, as a development safety purpose, right, you have to use for loop, okay, to avoid a singleton error. Wait for this error message, because I will show you what is the meaning. So here I'm using record dot, right, and I'm using here record dot student fees minus record dot discount fees, because student fees and the discount fees both are available here. You see, now whatsoever is here and here, the final result goes to here. And now this method we have to register here, compute equal to double quote, and in a string, as a string we have to pass the method name, and that's it. So this, we create a simple compute field, and I'm trying to register this field in here, okay, in the list view. Upgrade the module. You can see we have two fields, right, student fees and the discount. Now I'm going to refresh the screen, and now you can see final fees is available here, and now you can see 5 minus 1 equal to 4. So here it will automatically calculate based on the formula we provided here. Not that one, this one, okay, and it will update as a 4. Now the thing is, let's say if I'm using here 100 and I'm giving you discount as a 20, right, save, and now you can see student fees and 20, right, the result would be 80. So it will automatically calculate, so we don't need to manually change here based on this two field. So here the compute field automatically compute for you. You have to just apply the logic here, and whatsoever the final result will be there, it will store here in this field, and it will give you the result, okay. One more thing is, the compute field by default it's a read-only field. Read-only field means you cannot change this result anyhow, okay. So let me show you in the form view, because in the form view we can directly change anything, right? So you can see 80, I cannot change this one, but let's say if I'm using here 1000, and once I save, you can see it will automatically calculate the result, but still the user is not able to change this final result. So this is the beauty of the compute field. The second thing is, in the database side, oh sorry, you cannot see that compute field. You can see here discount field, right, let's say student fees, but you cannot see the final fees. Why? The compute field by default, it's not storable in the database, I mean this table, okay. Let's say if you want to store into the database, so you have to use one more attribute, store equal to true. Now I am just simple trying to upgrade the module, okay. Now once the upgrade part is done, after that, let's see here. Now you can see the final fees available here with the respective field whatsoever we provide here, and now the result goes to the database, okay. So you can see select id name, let's say final underscore fees from wb underscore student, and now you can see here the result. right? So this is the beauty of the compute field. Now again, let's say you can also use compute field for the character, text, HTML, boolean, selection, right? Integer, float we already used here. JSON you can also use, date time, many to many to one, many to many, one to many. You can see here reference, right? You can use here compute field, but the thing is we have to use attribute as a compute. And let's say you want to store into the database the particular field, then you can also use here store equal to true. By default it's a false, so it's not storable into the database. Okay, so this is the main thing about the compute field. Rest, let's say float field supported attributes also you can use here, right? By default it's a read only one and you cannot change the result. Another thing is let's say inverse and search. These two attributes is also we can use with the compute, but right now I'm not giving you the purpose of those two attributes. Okay, I'm just trying to give you the simple demo about what is compute field and how you can create a compute field with the simple scenario. I hope you understood. Now the second thing is, let's say HTML field. We can also create same calculation, something like this, without compute field, without using this compute. Okay, but we are using HTML field. So for that, so I'm using this compute address HTML and I'm using here. So my goal is whatsoever I'm changing here, right, it will automatically clone to my field, to this field. Okay, you can see here we use here. I'm going to refresh the screen. You can see let's say if I don't want to use b tag and I tag, and once I save, so my purpose is to automatically store this data to this field without compute field, right? So for that you have to use the decorators. So api @api onchange, right? So onchange we have to use the dependent field, like once this field change, automatically the method automatically call. So this method call, let's say onchange address HTML field for record itself, record dot this equal to record dot this. Okay, now you can see once I will upgrade the module, refresh the screen. Now I'm changing to green to this color, and once I will click to outside of this field, right, automatically here you can see this data automatically update here, and once you save, it will permanently store into the database this data, I mean, right? Right now let's say I don't want the red color but orange color. You can see directly it will taking the effect, right? Let's say blue color, I'm changing here, but vice versa this one is not changing, right? But let's say if I'm changing here, you can see it will automatically change here. So this way you can use onchange decorator. Onchange decorator is different thing. You can also use compute here, right? Let's say this decorator you can also use here. I'm giving you a short example, you will understand how we can, what is the purpose to use onchange. You can see here we have 1000 as a student fees, right? and the discount. So by guys, here might be you will confuse. So label is available here, and this labels field available here like this way. So don't confuse. So this 1000 is not for the discount. Okay, this is for the student fees. So let's say if I'm changing here 20, right? If I'm click to outside here, and once I click here, after that you can see, but in this case you can see still the it's not updated, and once I will refresh the screen, it's not updating. Why? Because we provide here store equal to true. Another thing is, in a such case, let's say you want to change directly in the front end side, so you have to use the onChange decorator here. Using separate comma operator. Okay, and now I'm trying to refresh the screen, and now I'm trying to, let's say, updating here data. You can see directly it will taking the change, right? Once I will save, it will again return 980. See, so why, what happened here? The thing is, while once you use something like this, right, with the compute, the thing is you have to either use here read only equal to 0. Now you can see you can change anything here, it's storable. But let's say you can see it's changing the value, and it store here the exact amount, right? So this is the first case. You can use here read only equal to 0. Another thing is you can use here force underscore save equal to 1. So now you can see it's a read only. I'm changing here, let's say, value. You can see it's available as a 1180, and once I save, you can see it's not rollback with the original value, the previous value, right? And once I will select, refresh the screen, it's display something like this. So force underscore save, this attribute is very useful when the specific field is read only, but it will change based on the different fields change, and after that it will changing here the data, right? And you want to show that particular data here, the latest data, I mean like this way, then we have to use the force underscore save equal to 1. So this is the second scenario. Okay, I hope you understood about the scenarios, because this scenario only works in the storable fields. But let's say if you don't want to store this field, something like this, right? And let's say I don't want to use this one here and this one here. Now you can see the main difference. Refresh the screen. All right. Okay. So the issue is here. So let's say if I'm using here, I forgot to add a new method here. By the way, you can also use the same method. The thing is, you can also use something like this, but right now I don't want to use like this way. So you can see here now, let's say going to the front end. Right now you can see both result, right? The same result. I'm using here 1500. You can say it will take the latest update, the amount, but once I save, right, you can see it's rollback with the previous value. But once I click to save, it will recompute this field, the read-only field, which is not storable in the database side. So this is the main thing here, the main difference here. Another thing is, it will take the new change here. Why? Because we are using here the decorator. So if we are not using the decorator, let's say refresh the screen, right? And let's say if I will changing here 200, right? And once I click, you can see it will change this one in the save method, but this particular field is not change anything. Why? Because once the data stores into the database, after it will use that particular data only. But here, let's say you want to change something like this or something like this, right? It will automatically change like this. So here we have to use the decorator. Either you can use the onchange, or you can also use the api.depends. The same fields. Now you can see, once I will add here 2000, right? You can see before I click to save button, right? This field, this storable field automatically change the result, but this compute field is not taking the new changes. But once I click to here, after it will take the change, and once immediately I'm changing here, effectively it will change directly into the GUI part. So this is the main difference between the compute field without using the decorator and with using the decorator. So decorator means onchange and the depends. Don't worry about these decorators, I will explain in detail, okay? But right now you have to focus on the compute field. So this field, right, and this fields. I hope you understood the main core concept about the compute field. Still you have any doubt regarding the compute field, please comment below, and see you in our next session. And our next session would be how to create a binary field. Alright, so see you there.